Okay, here's the obligatory Star Wars, not really a rant, whatever, Star Wars discussion video. Every single channel has one. And I actually do want to touch on something that has to do with the sequels, of course, because that's all everybody talks about now. That actually I haven't seen it pointed out. I'm sure someone has said the same thing I'm about to say, but I haven't personally seen it. So that's the last drop of that, and let's begin. What I'm talking about is I knew there was a problem, and I didn't fully understand why I knew this until I reflected later on. But I knew there was a problem from basically the first trailer of The Force Awakens. I know it's not because it had the Disney logo. I mean, yeah, maybe that was not a good sign, but the real problem was when they reintroduced Luke's lost lightsaber. The one he lost, Anakin's lightsaber that Luke used until Empire Strikes Back, where he loses it. And because the symbolism of the lightsaber, that lightsaber in particular, was absolutely pivotal to, metaphorically pivotal, or not pivotal, I guess, metaphorically entrenched in the journey that Luke has. And in the trailer, they're just like, "Oh well, Rey has it now. Haha! Look at me. I'm carrying on the torch." Well, that's not at all what that represented, and that was a big red flag that basically the people running the show for the sequels didn't understand what was happening, or didn't care, or that they were going to essentially destroy Star Wars, destroy the mythos. So I'm trying to think where to start on this. Let's think back to the lightsaber when it's first introduced. It's first introduced and I'm not talking about the prequels. I'm talking about the original trilogy. It's first introduced when basically Obi-Wan gives it to Luke because he says it's his father's, and he talks about his father fought in the Clone Wars, all this other stuff, and Luke's intrigued by it, because his father was a great pilot from what he heard and went on adventures, and that's what Luke wants to do. This is the link to his father, to his past, to the bright, idealistic hero. It's the light to get to the hero's journey. He sees his father did it, and now he's got a link to his father who he didn't know, who he clearly wants to know. It's part of his character. He's curious about his father. I mean, who wouldn't be? Especially if they were Jedi, I'd be interested, and Luke was, and it was a very human thing. But that hope he's got in the lightsaber, the new hope for his lifetime, all that hope he has, he loses it at a critical moment. He loses it at the same time it's revealed to him that Darth Vader is actually his father. His father didn't stick to the light side. Luke's innocence and Luke's whole worldview and his whole idea about how he fits in the galaxy of things is shattered. And likewise, that lightsaber gets tossed away like garbage. Does Darth Vader say, "Oh, that's my old lightsaber, I want that, let me force grab that, let me take that"? No. He's thrown that part of his past away, and Luke finds out the hard way that that's the case, because he gets his arm cut off and he loses the lightsaber. He loses the only link he had to his father, and then he finds out his father is, Darth Vader. That's powerful. That's metaphoric. That is something extremely important to the core of the Star Wars mythos. And what they did in The Force Awakens is essentially said, we're just undoing that. It wasn't really that important that this disappeared. Luke's we're going to somehow revive this prop because it's a thing, as regular media says, it's a thing they know. And that's an insult to people who understand the deeper lore of the story. People who wanted, like that was a really important moment, that lightsaber was fell down a shaft in Bespin, along with his hand, and along with his dreams of following in his father's footsteps. that was a really, really pivotal moment. And it's like Disney, or whoever, I guess whoever wrote the sequels, JJ, and I'm sure it's by committee, they just didn't get that. They didn't get why that was important. That's why you don't bring back Uncle Ben or Gwen Stacy. They stay dead. While Luke's lightsaber should have stayed dead, because that was important. That wasn't there. Now, maybe they could have done something with Kylo, because Kylo Ren's like obsessed with like Darth Vader's legacy. I don't know how he didn't learn better from Luke and Leia and Han. Like they should, like how they didn't raise him right. I don't know what's going on with that, but maybe like if he had that lightsaber and he was clinging on to this like idealistic past, and then he decided, oh well, Vader went this way, and I think he was successful, so maybe I'll go dark side. Maybe something like that. They could have maybe done that, kind of retold essentially Luke's journey, but if Luke had went rogue, that maybe it wouldn't have been so objectionable. But the fact that they handed it to Rey to make her the Skywalker, to make her the Messiah character, that's a complete insult to the fans, to the people who really held the trilogy dear. It's almost heresy in the sense of it betrays the characters. It betrays the fundamentals of what made the original one so great. And they went out of their way to show that. They show Luke having given up his hope and living on an island. Doesn't give a shit about anything. And she hands him that lightsaber. I mean, I would have thrown it too. I would have been insulted. But that's not why he throws it. He just throws it because they wanted to make him a loser. They had to destroy that character. They had to embarrass him and show how much better this new Messiah is. They had to humiliate him and humiliate his fans. Humiliate the people who liked the original trilogy for what it was. And I mean, they went as far as the Star Wars calendar. They've changed it now. Instead of counting from usually BBY is how it's how years in Star Wars are usually talked about, because everything's before Battle of Yavin. And I think there's another part of the calendar. It has to do with like early Old Republic stuff. I forget. I think Knights of the Old Republic might use that, but like point being, like BBY, that's the turning point in which you judge all things. In terms of like that's the New Hope. That's where the galaxy turned over. It's where the Messiah was born, Luke Skywalker. That's why that's there. That's the metaphor that's hidden in there. And Disney went out of their way to eliminate that. And they said, not only are we going to destroy the character of Luke Skywalker, not only are we going to destroy the symbols of Luke Skywalker by bringing them back and making them, props, we're going to destroy the calendar. We should have known from The Force Awakens that the people in charge, either it was malicious or they just were truly that stupid. I tend to think it was malicious. I'm going to be honest. I mean, just to hear people like Kathleen Kennedy talk about, what she finds valuable about the series. It's not even a matter of her just not getting it. It's like, I think she actively dislikes the whole setup. I mean, it's I'm going to quote Bill Whittle again. He said basically, like, Star Wars is America's religion. Yeah, well, if this was a religion, it's now been completely corrupted. Who's going to get into the original stuff if this new stuff kind of craps all over it? It's irreparable damage to future generations.